Well, of course, the fight for basic human rights is something that all people deserve, and of course, one that is continuing to evolve and change as the years go by. But today we are celebrating a very momentous day, not only in South Africa, but in the world as
Across the world, an opportunity for all of us to stand up in unison. It is International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia, an opportunity to discuss some vital social issues for all of us, because we are ultimately one community. And we've got Sharon Cox here from the Triangle Project, who we know are doing amazing work in this field. This is an important day. Welcome, Sharon. Awesome to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Sharon, it's so wonderful to have you on our show. So I know that we're in 2017. I think there's been a lot of progression, and there's also been a lot of maybe not so much progression. But, you know, at this point in time, let's talk about some of the stigmas that still appear in the world today with regards to this particular community.
So you're right in saying in 2017 we've come a long way and we've got a good progressive constitution, but the problem with constitution is that's rights on paper and it doesn't translate into lived realities on the ground. So the challenge that we face is that people's attitudes have not changed. And so as long as we have people being othered, people being discriminated against, people being called names, which leads to violence very often, then we can't, it's hard to even think of the word celebrate, because just over the last weekend we've had another lesbian murdered. So, you know, how far have we really come?
Where does this re-socializing, this re-education need to begin? We live in an era where bullying is a massive thing, where any individuality, while we celebrate it in media, while we celebrate it on the positive side of that scale, any kind of standout feature seems to be honed in on. And when we talk about the difference between the political rights, you say we've got a wonderful constitution, the law is there, but that other leg that we stand on, that social leg, isn't there. Where do we begin to address this shortfall?
We begin in the home, like we do with all marginalizations. You know, we have parents watching TV shows that may have a lesbian character or transgender character and pass derogatory comments. Our children are listening to these. Our children pick them up, and then it's okay for them to be repeating these. It's okay for them to be oppressing people other than they have. We hear it in our churches, sadly. You know, there's so many areas and places where young people are picking it up. So how then do we have a different generation sometime down the line where people start recognizing others as just human and not less than?
Yeah. I know that there are safe spaces that have been created for people who have been abused and who, of course, identify with the LGBT plus community and who are part of it. Why are these spaces so important, and why is it so important for us as the community to help when we see someone in danger?
Safe spaces is a word that we've used for a long time. It's spaces that we've had for a long time, and no space is actually safe. But it is a space that people can come together to discuss issues that they're facing, to go through sensitizations, maybe to have workshops, for people to know their rights. They serve a lot of purposes, do safe spaces.
Lastly, wanting to be a part of this activation today, because there is going to be a massive upswing in media. Social media is going to be behind this movement today. We know what we need to do as individuals within our own homes. What can we do on a day like today and every day moving forward? And I love that I am human statement that comes out. How can we help? What can we do, certainly within media, with our platform to help you?
Right. I think in the media context, you know, highlighting it like you're doing now is a wonderful thing for people to see that in 2017 we're still having people murdered and brutally murdered just on the basis of their sexual orientation. And also for us as humans, as people in the world, don't stand by and listen to a joke. A homophobic joke, a sexist joke, a racist joke. Put a stop to that. Don't be complicit in what ultimately can lead to murder and brutal violence.
Well, thank you, Sharon, so much for being here with us. The situation is real. You know, it's not something that it's out there. It affects all of us. And it all comes down to, you know, sometimes you don't necessarily understand, but we need to become compassionate. We need to be able to listen. We need to be able to learn. We need to be able to grow. And at the end of the day, we all deserve equal human rights. That's what it comes down to. The same rights that you have, the same rights that I have. So for more information, why don't you go and visit the dayagainsthomophobia.org. And of course, you can lend your support as we commemorate this very, very important day, not only in South Africa, but internationally.